The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 260. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal lady on today. She is a feminist, a scholar activist, and a social justice educator, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story about self-confidence and the tips that she has for us today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Vanessa Teck. Vanessa, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to our listeners.
Yeah, of course. Hi. Well, first, I'm really honored to be here speaking with you and everyone else today, and excited to share my story. This is a really great opportunity to, be able to reach out and speak to other women, and I'm excited to be able to create connections through this. As you shared, my name is Vanessa. I am a daughter of Cambodian refugees. They came over to the United States around the 1980s, and I was very fortunate to be born in Denver, Colorado. Since then, I've dedicated my life to social justice, particularly with Asian American activism and feminism, especially as it has to do with higher education and Southeast Asians in higher education, and just telling the story of what it means to be an Asian American woman in this, climate that we currently have, and understanding our identity and the stories that we need to be, and the stories that we should be telling.
Thanks for sharing that. And it's great that, you can, share your life experiences and stories and help other people kind of inspire and take action in their own lives. And what's your cultural background?
Well, I identify as a Cambodian American and Asian American. For a really long time, actually, as I was growing up, I had no idea what it meant to be Cambodian. My family didn't speak about the war and their experience as refugees and their journey to the United States because of all the, trauma that they would have to relive in speaking about that. So as I got older, I just called myself Asian American and didn't really have any connection to my ethnic identity. It wasn't until high school where I did my own research about the genocide in Cambodia that I realized how important my identity as Cambodian was. And now when I'm in organizing spaces, in Asian American spaces, I'm very specific about identifying as Cambodian American because it's a unique experience that differs from a lot of other Asian American folks. My family experienced war, had to come to the United States, and had to experience assimilation, had to experience bullying, all these types of things that are not typically a part of other Asian American narratives. So that Cambodian American part is very important to me.
Thanks for sharing that. And I'm glad that, you're out there sharing what, you being Cambodian. Because, especially when you move to, America, or you're an Asian person living in America, a lot of Asian women or Asian people are kind of ashamed that they're being Asian. Because, especially back then, when I first moved to Canada, it's like, I didn't want to be Asian. I wanted to be a white person.
Yep, exactly.
And, and now, I love being Asian, I love it. I love who I am. I love my culture and what I do and what we can represent. So, I'm glad you're able to do that as well. And Vanessa, what's your favorite self-confidence quote?
My favorite self-confidence quote. It's by a South Asian poet. Their name is Rupi Kaur, and the quote is, "Our backs tell stories no books have the spine to carry." And that quote in particular is very important and resonates with me because as an Asian American woman, one, our stories aren't told. And two, we have so many experiences. We're all warriors. We raise families. We have survived war. My mom has survived war. She learned a new language for survival. All these things. Nobody tells these stories, but we're so strong and we hold them all. I think we hold the world on our backs. And I think that quote is so powerful because it speaks to that.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love that quote, right? Because there's so many people out there with amazing stories that can really inspire the world, and they're just too afraid, or they think, my story is nothing special. Who's going to listen to me? Not knowing that, if you can just change one person, that could be more than enough. I mean, this is why I started the podcast. I just really want to share women's stories of what they've been through and where they are and how they were able to overcome it. to inspire others to do the same thing. So love the quote that you mentioned. It's the first time I've heard it, and it's so powerful. So thank you so much. And in your own words, how would you define self-confidence?
I was thinking about this question for a while, and I actually couldn't come up with anything because I don't think there's any set definition for what self-confidence is. I think it depends on the person and the woman experiencing it. But I do know for sure that women have always been confident. I think that as we grow up, the world tells us otherwise, and we have to spend the rest of our lives unlearning all of that toxicity and the fact that we have to relearn that we are amazing and that we are extraordinary and that we have always been everything we have wanted to be. And it's just a matter of telling the world that everything it's taught us is wrong.
Thanks for sharing that. I believe it too. I think we're all born with it, and it's just like life happens, and the media and families and society kind of programs us certain things that makes us relearn everything all over again. So I love your definition. And Vanessa, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I'm going to share another quote. When I was thinking about this, I think that when you lack self-confidence, you end up molding yourself into being what others want you to be. And there's this quote by an incredible activist feminist, Audre Lorde, and she says, "If I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and be eaten alive." And I think that's true. Before I discovered my own self-confidence and my own being, I think I felt lost. I, made myself smaller. I made myself nicer. I smiled more because I thought that was what people wanted. But as a result, I had no idea what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go. And as soon as I got over that point of realizing that I didn't need to be other people's fantasies, one, I was happier. And two, I think I started surrounding myself with a community that truly supported me and loved me no matter who I was. And that has given me the ability to do the work that I do. Social justice work isn't easy. And in order to do it, you have to do it with the community. And that self-confidence has really brought together that family for me.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love that you mentioned, you stop being other people's fantasy. Especially, growing up in an Asian culture, our parents or our loved ones want us to be a certain way when, deep in our heart, we just want to be ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's hard because if we don't follow what, society or loved ones tells us, it's like we feel like we're being disobedient or we're not being the good daughter. And
yes,
sometimes it's not about that. It's about being who you really want to be and what you want to do and how you want to live your life. So thanks for sharing that. And because you were able to surround yourself with like-minded people to help you do what you do today, what's your life been like now?
I joke a lot with my friends. I call it the struggle to love, mainly because social justice work, again, is really challenging. Whether it's in higher education, whether it's in the community, it's a battle every single day. But I think it's a battle worth fighting because you are with people that you love. I would say that I've redirected my focus to doing a lot of social justice work in higher education because that is the community that made a difference for me. I met fantastic educators that, even gave me assignments to talk about my own story. I remember once I had a professor that said, "Hey, write about anything you want, go interview your family, learn about them." And that was absolutely life-changing for me because I never had a professor or a teacher care about who I actually was. And I got to write about something that was relevant to me and to the people that I care about. So I hope to have that type of impact on other folks and let them find their own stories, their own voice, and be confident in their own experiences because they're just as valid, just as valuable as everything else that we're taught to learn in schools. And I think even more important than what we're taught to learn in schools.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. I'm glad you're doing something that you're passionate about and, worth fighting for. It's rare that people get to do what they love to do. And, now we can show others that anything's possible if you just go out there and just do it. So, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey of self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
I would say that there isn't actually a destination to your own journey to self-confidence. I think every day is a new cycle of learning who you are and loving who you are. I think it's important to realize that women are allowed to be angry, be frustrated, to be ugly, to eat all the ice cream we want, to be fragile, to be strong, to be flawed and imperfect and flawless all at the same time. None of that is mutually exclusive, and we should be able to embrace that we're all of these things all at once, all the time, and that's okay.
I love that tip. And, it's true. I mean, we have to love ourselves even with our flaws, even if we binge on Netflix every day, which is not a bad thing sometimes. It's just sometimes it's something that you have to do for yourself and be okay with it. So love the tip that you mentioned. And Vanessa, if our listeners wanted to get to know you a little bit more about you and what you do, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yeah, of course. If you're interested in learning more stories about myself, my community, and other incredible folks, I help to run an organization called Project Ava, and you can read many things there. So Project Ava, projectava.org, projectava.org.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Vanessa, you can also head on over to thetowofselfconfidence.com and search for Vanessa's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else we talked about. And I just want to thank Vanessa for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thanks so much, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been really wonderful.
Not a problem. It was an honor having you on and share your story. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Want to learn how you can use podcasting to market your business? Download your free report by visiting our website at thetowofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.